Okay, so I just arrived at the Southampton docks to board the RMS Titanic, and I have to be completely honest with you guys, the smell is absolutely insane. It's this overwhelming mix of fresh paint, burning coal, and salty sea air. Like, my eyes are literally watering from the smoke. But we made it. Thank you so much for 200K subscribers, by the way. My itinerary for today is pretty packed. I need to find my first class cabin, try some authentic Edwardian luxury food, and hopefully, if I have time, track down the ship's architect, Thomas Andrews. But first, I desperately need to get on board before I get crushed by these luggage cranes. All right. I finally checked into my room on B deck, which is apparently where all the major socialites and millionaires gossip. Let's do a quick room tour. So over here is the bed, which is actually incredibly plush with this heavy brocade coverlet, very fancy. And over here we have a wash bowl and a mirror. And for the bathroom situation, third class, there had shared bathrooms, but it was no private first class. It's literally just this porcelain chamber pot hidden in a fancy cabinet.
I cannot cope with the fact that I paid the equivalent of $50,000 in today's money for a first-class ticket, and I still have to share a communal bathtub down the hall with strangers.
There is this common belief that traveling in 1902 was the peak of glamorous luxury, but the hidden truth is that even the richest people on Earth are still dealing with Victorian plumbing. It's actually kind of humbling. Obviously, I can't go out on the promenade looking like a time traveler in sweatpants, so I need to get changed into period-accurate clothing.
Okay, fit check. I am wearing a silk and lace Edwardian day dress with a hobble skirt, which means I literally cannot take a full stride.
The corset underneath took 40 minutes to lace up, and I can barely breathe. But we are blending in. Let's go explore this ship. The interior of this ship is so unbelievably loud and crowded with literally the wealthiest people on the planet.
I just passed John Jacob Astor in the hallway. Like, the actual richest man in America just nodded at me.
I stopped by the Café Parisien to try some of their famous high tea service. Okay, sneaky food review. I genuinely do not know how they are keeping these pastries so fresh in the middle of the ocean.
This tastes like pure butter, sugar, and some kind of vanilla cream. It's actually incredible.
Also, I just saw a bellboy who looks maybe 12 years old carrying these massive steamer trunks up 3 flights of stairs by himself. They really just skip childhood labor laws completely out here. The behavior of the upper class just completely ignoring this is wild. Anyway, let's go check out the rest of the ship. Wait, there's this massive steel gate blocking the stairs down to the third class areas. Let's see what's going on down there.
So it turns out that all of the immigrants and lower class passengers are physically locked behind these iron barriers. It is completely wild to me that in 1912, the social class system relies entirely on physical segregation. Just looking down at these locked metal gates, you realize how trapped these people are in the belly of the ship. If something goes wrong, they have no way to get up to the boat deck. It is incredibly heavy to witness in person. The sheer disparity between the caviar and champagne up here and the cramped bunk freds down there is deeply uncomfortable.
The Edwardian class system isn't just about money. It's about literal physical barriers.
But I managed to convince a steward to let me through. So let's see what the vibe is like down in third class.
Very sure I said that you like the French as fabulous.
It doesn't ever do.
Do you like something there? Thank you. So what's up, miss?
Hi! All right, time to shake off that heavy energy. I'm just hanging out in the third class general room right now. It smells mostly of damp wool, pipe tobacco, and honestly a lot of sweat.
But I managed to get a pint of stout from the bar.
Okay, this is actually pretty good. Very heavy, very melty.
Oh, wait, okay, the quiet drink has officially escalated into a full party. People are just pulling out instruments and throwing themselves into these massive group dances.
Second impromptu party of the trip. Send help! Actually amazing how vibrant the community is down here, despite everything else going on.
The energy is 100 times better than the stiff, formal small talk happening in the first-class smoking lounge. And I can't help but wonder if these third-class passengers aren't having a much better time than us. Everyone down here is traveling to America to start completely new lives, and they're celebrating. The behavior of the third-class passengers when they're finally off the clock is pure, unfiltered joy.
Like, this is what actual human connection looks like. I could genuinely stay here all night.
But I have a very specific dinner reservation I need to get to upstairs. Wish me luck.
Good evening, and look at this. This is what you have to wear to visit the highest levels of Edwardian high society. I somehow secured an invitation to the captain's table in the first-class dining saloon. I am so nervous right now.
Yes, that's me. No pressure, just casually having dinner with the literal designer of the Titanic.
Ah, you must be the American traveler I've heard so much about. A pleasure to meet you. I'm glad to hear it. She was not of his time. She's the finest vessel ever built.
Slow down.
Slow down? Why on earth would we do that? The sea is completely calm. We're making excellent time.
Because there's a massive ice field directly ahead of us. You're going to hit an iceberg in less than 3 days.
But what if 5 compartments flood? Or 6?
I tried. I literally tried to warn him. Now I'm stuck at this incredibly tense formal dinner, and the cutlery situation alone is terrifying. There are 8 different forks. I have no idea which one to use first or what order to eat things in.
So, my dear, what does your father do? Is he in railroads or steel?
He's in shipping.
What in God's name was that? Did we throw a propeller blade?
Okay, so I just got officially pushed out of the way by a crowd of people. Everyone is finally realizing, a crowd of people, because everyone is finally realizing the ship is tilting forward and there are not enough lifeboats for everyone.
Honestly, this is probably for the best because I accidentally stepped on a wealthy aristocrat's foot trying to get to the boat deck, and she literally screamed at me in French. So I was like, you know what, I'll just...
The water is literally freezing. I can see ice chunks floating out there, and I am sticking around for the end of this movie.
"1912 is absolutely fascinating. The engineering is incredible, the fashion is stunning, and the food is genuinely amazing. But the absolute hubris of the upper class, the belief that they could conquer nature with technology, is not for me. Anyway, my emotional payoff is knowing I can just pull out my device and go back to the year 2026 for a hot shower and central heating."
See you in the next timeline. Bye.